Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of whatever I call this thing. It used to be Sun Recharge, now it's Creatives Ignite, and we have had the craziest beginning. So I am excited to have Maya here, and from Norway we've got lots of people. The other country represented is Brandy is representing Canada. So I am excited, and we have lots of other people from America. So Dameon, do you want to tell them where you're located today and
Uh,
introduce Brad?
I am in a remote location today. I am not home because I had technical issues. I found a friend. I phoned a friend. His name is Brad. He has a little company, I think Piedmont brand. You may have heard of it. I don't know. A little something. Um, Brad allowed me to come to his office studio. Is awesome and do some recording since my computer is not playing ball. Um, we are trying to make sure everything is working technically, so I am keeping Brad under lock and key right here. There's a hand. That's all
He
you
could
get.
come and put his face
You
in.
you want his face a
Yeah,
little bit? All
he
right,
can just
folks.
wave.
Um, there you go.
Oh, come on, all the way.
There you
There
go.
you
Now
slow
you.
mo.
That's right. Two nipples. That's right. He's in. He's in. I like it. That's all you're
Awesome.
getting.
Okay. So he's going to stay there until we get to the share part. So I just want it, just in case somebody doesn't know, hasn't seen you on here before, can you give everybody a little bit of your background and then we'll jump into the share so Brad can get back to work? And
Okay.
happy Juneteenth.
And happy Juneteenth. All right. In short, uh, for those that don't know me, Dameon Williams. I am out of Raleigh, North Carolina. That's in the United States, just so people know on the East Coast. Um, I am an illustrator, a designer. I do that full time. There was a time where I didn't, but these are the times I am that person. You're not going to see a lot of that with today's presentation. You're going to see the early part, but I do that now. Branding, all the fun stuff, but work at the print shop and really help a lot of people wear their feelings many a day. It happens.
Right.
Was that
Where, not WEAR, right?
where? Yeah,
Yeah.
WEAR. Where they are wearing some goods. In fact, I'm also here delivering some goods for my friend here. But it's in a car because I had to rush up to meet you. So they're just going to be in that hot car,
It'll be
hopefully not burning.
warming. Yeah,
Oh,
no.
yeah. Yeah,
They'll just,
it's warm.
it is warm, I'm sure. Okay, so one of the questions I'm going to ask, so you can go ahead and hit share if you want.
I want to hit
And
share.
you
Okay,
let's go ahead and share it because I'm going to
let's do
ask you
that.
this question, and then if we need Brad, he can do it, and you can answer it without really having to be in your deck. So how has your work changed and evolved through the years? Have you seen evolution in your work? Um,
Yes, I have. I feel like I have truly uh, improved. I've gotten better as far as just as an artist anyway. You can tell when you're looking at your old stuff and like, eh, arms, hands, faces, whatever, snouts. They just look better because of repetition. So of course, all that you hope you improve there, but I want to feel like I'm a little bit more in tune with the client or whoever is coming to me for a commission or whatever the situation. Really listening about what they are truly in need of, and hopefully not just zooming out and just starting to sketch, but really breaking down a lot of what they're saying and what they really mean. Not some of the things they say, but what they really.
so one of the things that I've noticed is that you will take on projects that maybe you haven't done something like in the past.
Right.
Um, so that you are stretching, but then you also, when you really are getting better at something, you, I know you do in February, um, 28 days or 29 days, depending on the year.
Right.
You do projects in February that really help to speed up the process of honing in a style. And I think that some of those deep dives, those quicker deep dives, have helped you tremendously because you're doing certain characters or a certain sort of time period, or even just stylistically, you're doing different styles in that. And I've seen evolution in that. Like, but I like that you
Right.
said noses or hands, the things that maybe are hard for lots of people. The more you do it, the better you get, whether it's a
Right.
snout, nose, or something else. So,
Right.
okay. So I want you to just jump in and if you can, if you're ready.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask you some other questions as we go.
Okay. Cool. So
Awesome.
it's official. You ready for this?
I'm ready. And if anybody has a question during, I'm keeping the chat up so that you guys can type it in. I will ask so that I'll just interrupt and ask. So feel free to know that you can jump in as we go. Okay. So again, the series is inspiration in action. So this is how your inspiration, your Dameon, your inspiration has, and this it could be an experience. It doesn't have to be a person. Often it is, but or it could be a book or something you read or something that when you worked at the hospital, that was an experience that affected how you drew or how you started processing information even. So, okay,
Right.
back to you.
Back to me. But you're right. It's all these experiences. Are we seeing the inspiration from your past? You're seeing that. All
Yeah, we
right.
see it. I see it.
Cool. That's because that's completely what this is. We are inspired by many things, a lot of present day things, but way more things that have affected us or has happened to us, whatever, coming from our past. We may not think about it, because that was my case. You may be too young or whatever the situation, but if you are blessed to live long enough, hopefully, and you're able to reflect, you'll see some of these things come back in a different way, and you have a decision to make. Am I going to do something about it or not? So I want everybody to understand this is how we harness our background experiences to ignite our creative passions. Yeah. Wordplay, ignite. Never heard of
And
that.
you use, right, especially when I can't remember what it's called, but you use the past a lot. Like you really love history. And I love that that finds its way into your work as well.
You know what? It is so appropriate that you said that because I'm a person of history. I love weaving that into my work. So why not start with some history? History lesson on Juneteenth. I love it.
I
All
do
right.
too. And not planned, right?
Not planned. This was not planned. This, on the other hand, is. This gentleman is John Wesley Winters Sr. He was a driven and ambitious man who started his own construction company after years of working service jobs. His determination not only led to business success, but also groundbreaking achievements in politics, becoming the first African American elected to the Raleigh City Council, city I'm from, Raleigh City Council, and later serving in the state Senate. Winters made history as one of the first two African Americans in a state legislature since Reconstruction. That's like since 1900.
Wow.
He believed in advocating for civil rights through community building and economic empowerment for African Americans. Winters played a vital role in developing subdivisions like Biltmore Hills, big with African Americans, featuring single family homes and streets honoring notable African Americans as Ralph Bunche, Ella Fitzgerald, Dorothy Dandridge, Bertha Kitt, Jesse Owens, etc.
Did you know this man?
Um, as it just so happens, my grandfather, who was a boxer and a restaurant owner and a whole bunch of things in Raleigh, he actually worked for him when he was doing a lot of his campaign stuff. So I didn't know him, but my family does. They're familiar with him. Biltmore Hills, a significant historic African American neighborhood in Raleigh, has played a crucial role in the city's Black history. Despite facing challenges such as discriminatory laws and financial constraints that limited land ownership, Biltmore Hills remain one of the oldest intact Black communities in the area. The segregation patterns from the Reconstruction era persisted into the 20th century, with the racially exclusive covenants intensifying the divide between Black and white neighborhoods. Between 1945 and 1975, visionaries like John Wesley Winter Sr. Developed Biltmore Hills as a stable middle-class African-American neighborhood. However, urban renewal projects, notably the construction of the Beltline highway system, pretty much the highway in our area, it's, the same highway that's all throughout the United States, disrupted longstanding communities like Biltmore Hills and Rochester Heights, cutting through these neighborhoods while avoiding a lot of the white areas that happened so often throughout the country. So we had a lot of Black neighborhoods that were, they were all together and then they got cut apart. So it led to a lot of, as you would imagine, disunity, community, some issues.
For sure.
As you would imagine. This right here is a clip from one of our local newspapers showing the little sound barrier they were putting up so you could block a lot of the highway noise. But stuff like that is what led to, or helped divide the area. So I'll drive over that same highway every day, honestly, and I could look over down in the barrier and see the neighborhood. You can kind of see it as you're driving by. So it's real. It's a real thing, and
and those walls often don't really
not so much
from sound or that much.
Not so much. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, yeah. So I've used my Instagram page over the years to cover various topics like housing, because as I got older, I started to realize that the enduring impacts of many of our past policies still influence the way millions live today. I realized that I too have a voice that some people actually listen to sometimes. Crazy. My kids don't, but other people do. I felt like I had to speak out on this subject and many subjects, and I covered this in addition to many others. I owe it to my people. I owe this to my neighborhood of Biltmore Hills, which I actually grew up on. I grew up on the street, Fitzgerald Drive. So literally every day I come out my door and I'm looking and I see the address in front of me. So history is all around me. Couldn't miss it. I literally couldn't miss it. But first, how did I get here? You're wondering. Into this confusion of missing slides.
And just so you know, Amy Lyons says, I've learned so much about history from you, Dameon.
Oh, you know what? Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're going to learn a little bit more. In fact, you're going to learn about my history. That's right. Take a look. This is Dameon with hair.
Little Dameon, how old is that one? Like, how old were you in that picture?
Oh boy. I wonder if I was in fourth grade.
Super cute.
Yeah, it was those Catholic school days. My parents worked hard to send both my sister and I to Catholic school, where I explored my artistic talents through religious and comic-inspired drawings. While the nuns were accepting of my religious artwork, they were less enthusiastic about my Garfield-inspired creations. Despite this, they encouraged me to pursue fine arts, leading to my admiration for paintings like this famous one, The Conversion on the Way to Damascus, one of my favorites. Additionally, I developed a passion for political cartoons. You see on the far right, particularly admiring cartoonist Dwayne Powell, his work in the News and Observer, our local paper.
Oh, cool.
He was awesome, and he just he would give it to both sides politically. That was his thing. I really, really loved how he'd burn everybody. Inspired by him, I became an editorial cartoonist for my high school and college newspapers.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yep. Fun fact. If I could have dug up some of my papers, I would have shown some of my clips. But,
We can imagine.
we can imagine, but perhaps that's our next interview.
Right.
Um, okay. Yep. Now I found my slide completely out of place. um, but this is appropriate. This is correct. While attending North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, so this is A&T in Greensboro, North Carolina, Aggie Pride, a historically Black university, my influences stem from my exceptional peers and talented art professors. Among them were Leander Kennedy and James Barnhill, who not only imparted their artistic wisdom, but in the case of Professor Barnhill, also sculpted the iconic February 1 monument you see on the far right,
Yeah.
honoring the 4 North Carolina A&T freshmen who initiated the lunch counter sit-in on February 1st, 1960.
Wow.
Yeah, Woolworth. There we
Yeah,
go.
Woolworth.
And of course, it's monuments to them and to everybody that contributed to the movement. This thing, I think they say about 15 feet high. This monument is crazy, but it's awesome. And he was my professor.
That's cool.
Great guy. This is a clip that should have been earlier, but more of my what I've done on Instagram.
But we don't know, so you can just keep going because we don't know where it goes.
Take a look. See
So
this redlining. Go back to my Instagram if you want to know more. These things are very important. All right. After graduating, I landed a job designing listings for residences and businesses in a telephone book directory. I mean, it was crazy work, a lot of typing.
Oh,
While the
gosh.
job was, I know, imagine that. While the job was financially rewarding because they had to pay you for that, it lacked creative stimulation, if you would imagine. Looking back, this period marked the lowest point of my creative inspiration. Surrounded by my cubicle, computer, and endless listings, I soon realized the importance, at least to me, of human interaction and fueling my artistic spirit. My coworkers were an awesome bunch. They truly were. A lot of good friends from that group, but I still felt like something was missing. Following a stint at a smaller yet similar workplace, I began to question my passion for creativity and thought maybe it was time to just explore a different career path. I was worried that this was about it. This was the end of the line for me.
Oh, wow.
Already. But it was a couple of years of this, and they bring you as a designer, but it is what it is, though. And it shows you how old I am because who's looking at the phone book now?
My dad still looks at the phone book.
Okay, well, this is for him. Let's see. So I stepped away from design and decided, you know what, let me just shake things up. So I began a career in security, and I was overseeing technology plants. They had me at some really cool places, pharmaceutical companies and college campuses. I mean, security at all these spots, it was some serious security. All the while I was leveraging my attention to detail and my personable nature, or that's what people tell me anyway. I don't know. You have to tell me. After about 8 months in security, as great as it was, I had an opportunity to transition to retail, working in sales and stockroom operations. And it was in the stockroom that I discovered my passion for helping coworkers and customers, organizing inventory and assisting with technical issues. Recognized as a go-to it guy, I thoroughly enjoyed the role. I enjoyed all the attention, but I enjoyed truly helping people. And I discovered inspiration, as I came to understand, presented itself in different forms. And in this case, it was service, something I never really considered before. And I felt good about that. I was getting closer to understanding how I ticked when it came to what inspired me. One day, a customer praised my personality and problem-solving skills, suggesting I consider a position as an in-house equipment technician in healthcare at one of the regional hospitals. I was intrigued by the opportunity, and eventually, I accepted the offer. Once I got conditioned to my new healthcare surroundings, I started to feel like I needed to revisit my creative approach, or at least my thought when it came to what I could do in the creative world. The urge to reignite, I love that word, my creative spark, even for part-time, led me to seek new opportunities outside the confines of a traditional office setting. I didn't want to go back to the cubicles in the way that was. It just wasn't for me. Determined to pursue my passion on my own terms, I eventually came across a small t-shirt shop called Fuzzy Face Embroidery, named after the cat, that was looking for a graphic artist. To my surprise, I actually landed the job. Yeah, figured, okay, wait a minute, what? Really? And they said despite 2 years away from serious graphic design work, I noticed that my skills quickly resurfaced as I dug into the new role. So it ended up being better than I thought. I thought I was away from the computer way too long. Not that long. It was fine. It started picking up. Adobe doesn't really change a lot up there. Not like that. Shortcuts are still the same shortcuts. So balancing part-time work at Fuzzy Face Embroidery with a full-time position at the hospital, I unintentionally blended graphics and illustration into my healthcare routine, injecting creativity into my everyday life. That really wasn't my goal, but people start to discover that you do stuff. You can draw, you can whatever. Like, hey, can you do something for me? I need a logo or my dog drawing. So I would do it. I was engaging with folks more than ever, though, during this period. And it was really cool helping people both physically and creatively, honestly. That whole period taught me a lot. I felt like I didn't have enough empathy, the idea of it, prior to the hospital. So I can do all these things, but where am I really understanding and listening to my clients or the people that are asking me to do these things? I started really to take a breath and give it a little bit more, spent more time listening, truly listening. And in that, I think I started nailing a lot of the goals when it came to what I was shooting for, whether it's design or art. Already active on Instagram with a personal account, sharing family photos, I decided to create a separate art page at this point. Initially, I followed the trend of many artists on the platform by simply posting my work and following established artists. While I had done the same on Facebook and Dribbble, Instagram felt different. Facebook is still a thing. I'd imagine Dribbble is still a thing too.
It is, yeah, I think. Yep.
It was bigger back then, I dare say. Despite the lack of structure, aside from the algorithm, I noticed artistic improvement as more attention to my work grew and leading to a gradual increase in followers. What began as random posts evolved into a purposeful, planned mini-series as my artistry developed. Before establishing my art Instagram account, I had some prior interactions with Retro Supply, a company that aligned perfectly with my interests, especially at that point in time. Growing up in a mid-century influenced neighborhood had already instilled in me a love for that aesthetic. So it makes sense I would like that in my artwork too. Retro Supply specializes in digital retro design tools, offering brushes and textures that accurately replicate vintage art with an authentic look and user-friendly experience. That is a commercial. That's a commercial. That guy right there, founder, owner, creator, Dustin Lee of Retro Supply, awesome guy. Upon purchasing and using Color Lab, that thing you see on the far right, a set of retro comic book replication brushes, I quickly became hooked on their products. I was using a lot of their products prior to, but Color Lab really did something for me. And it did something for me because of this. Drawing inspiration from my Uncle Raymond's old comic books that he gave me, I ventured into creating new characters and replicating classic looks using similar drawing techniques. Posting my 1970s era honey badger online with the intention of simply sharing, I caught the attention of a t-shirt company in California. So the honey badger you see on the top right-hand side, I just saw some of the ads in that Archie and me comic. I'm like, you know what? Let's pull some elements from here and da-da-da. Can I get that same look? Yeah, kind of nailed it, but they did all the color work. So thank you, Archie Comics. The t-shirt company in California commissioned me to create a similar style for their mascot, that little skunk character you see. Skunk holding some kind of paraphernalia in his hand. So you would imagine what kind of company this is in California. I don't know. I'm sure it was health foods. So I created a similar style for their mascot, leading to another successful shirt illustration, because I did two for them. This newfound success reignited my passion for art, and the recognition and opportunities motivated me to keep pursuing and expanding my creative endeavors. It was great that people wanted to actually purchase and do things and print this. So of course I'm all for it. And Retro Supply truly, a lot of their brushes, a lot of their stuff helped me get to that point a lot faster. So much appreciated.
They are awesome.
After gaining recognition for my artwork, I was invited, after a couple years, I was invited to join Retro Supply's team and appointed as co-moderator for their secret society community boards. In this role, I helped individuals on their creative paths and continued to analyze. I would analyze classic illustrations, kind of helping them replicate the look of that and really paying attention to why certain things were the way they were and how the media they used, why it did what it did, and how our digital brushes replicate the bleeds and whatever else you would see happening in those old publications. So I demonstrated to members how to recreate things using the digital brushes and to emulate the vintage aesthetic. An example of this is an illustration from the great J.P. Miller. This is from the Golden Book, What If? His is on the left, and I did a little sketch in the middle, you see, and then I use Retro Supply brushes to kind of do my version of that, getting as close as I could to what J.P. Miller did. And
looks awesome.
Thank you. This is the type of stuff you would see in Secret Society, us kind of breaking down and looking at the old things, and not only trying to replicate it, just a copy, but using it for our current. I do some of these same pictures using the same techniques, but for something modern day. So it's good that we replicate this, but we want to use it for our own purposes to create our own things. But with that look, that's the goal. Great to copy, but we can do our own thing.
Yeah, it's good for exercises too.
Great. Yeah.
And that's how you know what is off and where you still need work, right? When you're doing, but it is really important. And that's how the masters, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, that's how they worked as well. They copied, or people copied them more than likely, but they also probably copied others. But then they turn it and make their own work because now they understand how to do it. So I love that you're really deconstructing
that's the word.
J.P. Miller's work to see how you can use and how you can make it like it, and that then you take it and make it your own.
There you go. What she said. That's perfect. So we do that, and it's pretty fun. And it's teaching me a lot as well. So that's my what if. And this man. In my discussion, I have referenced numerous sources, methods, individuals, and events that have inspired me, with one particular favorite standing out. As I expanded my network and attended more conferences and met people like some Diane Gibbs, I think her name. She's a really cool person. You should meet her one day.
I'll try.
You should. She's awesome. I began to encounter exceptionally creative individuals in the field. One such person is the creative director and illustrator Von Glitschka, pictured here, whom I came across a few years ago. He offered an online class titled Drawing Vector Graphics Linear Line Illustration. I think it was on LinkedIn Learning at first. And and it's centered on creating illustrations using a single continuous line. Intrigued by its technique, I was captivated and promptly attempted it myself because that's what I do. I want to try it, give it a go. And here's some examples of how I did that. It's tough. And I tell you, you want to do it in parts and then eventually get to all your lines connected. But it's super doable, and it's truly fun to see if you can capture likenesses. A few more. Did this for a magazine cover, and to the right is the facade of Main Street on Disney, at Disney World, I think, or is it Land? It's probably
Land's
World.
in California, World's in Florida.
It's one of the facades, but yeah, using that same technique.
And the thing on the left is a client saw it, and then they were like, we kind of like this style or something, right?
Yeah. They had seen some things on Instagram and asked, well, could you do that for our people? Absolutely. Tell them to stay still and not move. And they stay there for like 2 days. So there's that. If you go to my Instagram post, you'll see a lot of this linear line business happening. So, if you want to get more of your fill, come on by. The release of journalist and author Nicole Hannah-Jones's 1619 Project essay in the New York Times made a significant impact to me, for me. Focus on slavery and the establishment of the United States from a critical perspective. The essay explored the lasting impact of these issues on contemporary society. Inspired by the diverse subjects covered in the essay, I decided to illustrate some of them. I employed the same technique. It was all more black and white. I did not really use color. The different essays covered incarceration, health, the highway system. It was just different topics in relation to the United States, Black folks, and all of us in general. The highways were created, as I discussed, with a certain intent. It wasn't just, oh, let's blah, blah, blah. Everything, it seems like, in our fair country, there's always another level to it. It's more than you would imagine. And a lot of this stuff was brought up in the essay. With that, I came up with the one-line mini-series that you're not seeing. I posted it on Instagram and tagged the 1619 Project to it to get the mass amount of eyeballs to it. I never considered that Nicole Hannah-Jones would actually catch wind of it, but she did. And I got acknowledgement and an invite to her personal page on Instagram. In my world, honestly, that's high praise. That was not my goal, but on more than one occasion, I've done different things, whether it's the ABCs of February, different things I've done. And when I'm not covering people that have passed, because Harriet Tubman is not going to see my posts and get back with me. I do cover a lot of people that are very much with us. And, I'll do some tags and whatnot, not really think anything of it. And in some cases, they've gotten back to me and shared their thoughts. So that's always fun. Amidst my lighthearted posts, and I do a lot, I've also shared content addressing social issues and inequities in the United States. Growing up in a neighborhood that symbolized greatness, I felt compelled to use my platform to shed light on contemporary injustices. As efforts to erase or downplay certain histories persist, I am motivated to persist in amplifying awareness and advocating for justice. That, my friends, is my inspiration. So I leave you with this. Developing a curiosity-driven mindset is crucial. So do that. Be curious. Finding inspiration in everyday experiences and embracing a spirit of experimentation won't ever do you wrong. Embrace risk. Boldly experiment with new ideas, even if the outcome is uncertain. Just go for it. Make sure you're doing things that align with your values. Ensure new projects resonate with personal beliefs and your priorities. You want something that reflects you. If it doesn't, then maybe you need to leave it be. Because you want to put your heart in it. If it's something that reflects you, then you're going to be way more passionate about it. And also, I want you to amplify your impact. Consider how the work can positively influence and empower the audience. That's the key. And that's what I would do with all of my posts on Instagram. So that said, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I am sorry that some of my slides refuse to show up, but that's okay.
It is okay. And
come to my page.
D says, inspiring. We are working hard on Wild Routed, and we appreciate the good vibes. I appreciate that. Just that you take a different spin, I think. I mean, there are lots of people who do retro, but I love the way you work through different styles or you grow. And it's been obvious to see how when you take on a project, even the map thing that you did for a client, you were like, I don't really like the map, but I did it and I could do it again, but I could say, hey, this maybe not isn't the thing that I want to do in the future.
In the future, right.
Right. Or you may try it a different way. And I think that to me, I love that history comes in so much for you in your work. Do you see, I mean, obviously with the Vaughn thing and then with the history, when you're inspired by, like, I remember one of the Februaries you did was based on a podcast or a book, I think, that you had listened to. I think
it was, I'm trying to think. There was one on wasn't Reconstruction. I think it was the Revolutionary War.
Okay.
And it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think he did a documentary I saw on Amazon or something, and it covered the blacks in the Revolutionary War. And there was a book, the same name, that came out decades before. I had never heard of this book or seen it, but I ended up buying it or finding it on eBay and read it. And sure enough, I think it maybe was in the 60s or 70s when it was put out there, this book. You see some of the people you've heard about before, and many people that you've never heard about, and like, because the Revolutionary War is just not really mentioned. People may think of black folks hanging around, but they would have been maybe enslaved at that point or whatever the situation was, but you don't really hear about them. And there's so many situations, as it is in many things when it comes to American history, certainly every war. There are people there. Now, you may not hear their stories, but I assure you they're there, and there's plenty of evidence of that. So yeah, that I think inspired one of my years of the ABCs of February.
Right. Okay. So then I see a direct correlation from who inspires you or the topic, right, that is inspiring you or things that you're learning. How about in terms of materials? I know you're inspired by retro, the Archies and things like that. And so retro supply has been a big, but what about like doing digital or working digitally? Is that, is part of what inspires you also in the materials you use?
Yeah, it is. As much as I do enjoy working digital, I was still brought up and taught with the traditional analog methods. I was on the cusp. We were kind of on the cusp of knowing all the analog stuff, but then the computer age was coming for us. And we weren't really into it, but we were learning to become. So many of us are of two worlds, but I'm still very much in getting my hands dirty, because pen and ink is that was my choice, my weapons of choice in college and beyond. And I still love it. I still like to use, and maybe not the quill, but a lot of the things now, the new technology, but still it's very analog. It's not digital, and you can't undo when it's on your paper. And it's great. That's a good thing. I encourage my kids to, use an eraser or not, be messy or not, but it's all good. So yeah, I like using material as well. Digital is great, but there's sometimes nothing could replicate tearing paper, like what you were
Mhm.
doing with your birds.
Right.
Um, and just a look of that. You can do that stuff in a digital way and make it look, or you can actually just tear the paper up, tear it up and build that way.
What about, so one of the things I love is in Secret Society on Retro Supply, you break down, deconstruct those old great people who have inspired you,
Right.
or looks of theirs. But then it's also your ideation. I've seen some just because we're friends, and I see some of your sketches and your process. Um, what about the process of actually coming up with ideas? Because maybe it's maybe less. And I just love that you'll watch something on TV or listen to a podcast, and then you get an idea for something else.
Hmm.
You start looking for visual references, obviously, but
Right.
I think your ideation. Can you talk a little bit about your process of getting ideas or experimenting with different ideas for a certain project?
Um, what I'll do, and I've discussed this before. It starts with a shower. There's always a shower. That's where I can clearly think, and it gives me a moment to kind of just parse through everything and try to work it out um, with no pressure. And if I come to whatever agreement or just whatever, it's kind of like with sleep. The same as when I
Mm-hmm.
wake up and it's maybe early morning, I feel like, okay, I got to get this on paper. So I'll run to the office and jot stuff down. Same in the shower. Um, and you go with any and everything. I discussed it before. Just put it all out there. No one's going to know behind the scenes what's happening and where this originated and where it started. They won't know all of that. They'll just see the end result. Um, so for me, it really is just jotting everything down and then coming back to it. And some things may work, some may not. That's okay. I'll talk to my wife and kids about different things. Um,
You also run, you have meditation
yeah,
practice. Like
all the different
you're
things.
not just work, get, and like,
Yeah,
so
be a
you,
sponge. Do
yeah.
everything. Let everything, because any and everything could be the inspiration. You don't know what.
Mhm.
There was a time when I was younger where I would dismiss things. That's silly. Don't dismiss anything. You
Mm.
don't know what a lot of the things that you're into now were they did not originate the way you think they did. I assure you. The potato chip
Right.
came about by accident. It truly did.
Even cereal.
Cereal. I mean, you just don't know. So don't dismiss anything. Put it all out there. And one thing could truly lead into another. So I do want to take those breaks and I do want to game because when I get a clear mind when I'm gaming, but you also get ideas when you're doing that.
Some web results. I can show them if you ask again
Oh.
on the phone.
Okay.
This
Thanks.
series like talking to you. Okay, so what about so sometimes when we're working in our own method, our own process,
Mhm.
one thing that I am inspired by you to do is you try new technologies and hard
Right.
technologies all the time. Like you don't seem to get oh, I'm overwhelmed by that. I'm not going to try that. Like it actually becomes, it's fun for you and you don't put as much pressure. I don't know really how you're able to do that. Really haven't taken on some of the things that you've taken on, and it seems like it's nothing to you. But for somebody who does like to do things by hand, you
Right.
also will embrace new technologies like animation or even just the iPad, or you doing different styles on the iPad. Like
Right.
how
Right.
how does that play in, and why is that important to you?
Because I am super curious about how it happens, how it's made, I just want to know elements of how things have come together. And we don't have to copy that. I'm not great with After Effects, but I'm not afraid to take a class or two in it because I am better in Procreate Dreams when it comes to some animation techniques. And I can implement some of those things I see here and bring it over to that. And you'll never know. Just because you may not be big or cool or great at one particular thing doesn't mean that you should dismiss it or just, I'm not going to implement any of that stuff in my workflow. You don't know. Some of those things may actually work for you, but you just have to take elements of it and just put it over here. So don't, I'm not great at everything. I'm not interested in being great at everything, but there are a lot of things I'm curious about. I wanted to see for this presentation how certain things would animate. So I used Procreate Dreams to animate that opening sequence, and then put it into Keynote, just out of curiosity to see how certain things play with each other.
Yeah.
And, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but why not? Let's see. And then you may see it and like, okay, that looks just like any other. Okay, mission accomplished. Great. Then that does work. And so it's about experimenting, really.
Well,
being afraid.
One thing that you used to do when you were at the hospital is during your lunch, you would do Skillshare or take some class and that I think it was so instrumental to me. It's like, wow, I have this, I'm not using this. And I actually started using Skillshare more. I could just see how much you were learning just because of classes you were taking. And it was the practice every day,
Right. I mean, and that's the joy, one of the joys of the hospital. When it was downtime and I'm not running all over the place, I did have a moment to kind of sit and watch a video or watch 5 minutes because they break it up, in little segments. So I could watch 5 minutes here and then go and help that patient poop or do something with their wheelchair and then come back and do 5 minutes. And, and it was really cool. They're smart to do it that way because we can all sit for an hour and do that thing. And I knew that if I would do it, then I would either encourage you to watch a video or more importantly, we together can go over some of the concepts I learned, and then we'll do our Sunday draw or whatnot. And that's fun too. We do need to get back to that, but I'm okay with that. You don't have to, hopefully. So I'm paying attention to it, not just for me, but with in hopes that I can implement this for myself, but also hopefully teach you maybe a thing or two to encourage you to do it, or at least for us to play around and say, hey, this cutout thing is pretty cool. Let's maybe do more with it. So it's just a mindset of sharing the service stuff.
Yeah. All right. So you always have it in your mind to be able to synthesize it down to help somebody else, whether that's in secret society or whether that's in just life and friends or that's your kids or anything, right? Because you're very community oriented. One other thing I wanted to make sure I do before I asked you the last question was community is important to you and collaboration is important. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
I have, this better than anybody. There was a point, and I didn't discuss it in this particular presentation. We talked about it before. We have a lot of friends, and prior to me seriously getting into my art, I really didn't have the community. I was searching for the community, and it just so happened, again, through Retro Supply, there was a newsletter, and in the newsletter, they introduced this guy named Lenny Terenzi. Lenny had a t-shirt shop in Durham and was super engaging in their article and whatnot. I'm like, okay, well, he's close, and Durham is close to Raleigh. So I figured, well, let me travel to this place and meet this man. So we sat and we talked, and he got me to come to, because at that point he was a president of AIGA. I went to meetings and got to meet more people and and then he suggested something called Creative South, I'm like, what is that? And there's this person named Diane. So you just have to keep going. And that's how it works. You're pulling the thread and all of a sudden you're unraveling a spider web or somebody's sweater. And it's fun. But this is how we learn. And for me, I noticed that my artwork, my skills really just shot through the roof when community was involved, whether it was listening to what they had to say or just feedback. All these different things helped me become a better artist. Maybe it was because of pressure of more eyeballs or whatever the situation, but community to me is super important. So you want to find one. They're out there, I promise you. That's community. And then collaboration. I love collaborating with people. This is how we grow. I've done some awesome things with my friend Josh Lewis. And of course, I've done some stuff with Charlotte, our mutual friend. Stuff with you. Just, I'm cool with collaboration. I encourage people to do it. This is how you learn when it comes to working with someone else. And it will be tough at times, but some of the greatest things, they're not supposed to be easy, but when you pull it off, as I did it with Josh and some of our history things on Instagram, when you pull it off, it ends up being super, super awesome. And a lot of people respond to it. And that's the goal. Collaborate.
Yeah. Well, even where you are today is community and collaboration. You're like, Brad, hey, can I come?
It's right here.
Yeah.
This embodies, my computer is acting up. I'm asking a friend. And I couldn't go to your house because you're not super close. We could have done this video
15 hours away. Yeah.
Next time I will fly out. But this time I had to find somebody closer. And Brad was there and he is super like, hey, you know what? Come to my spot. This background is cooler than my background. I may take a picture of this.
Cool too. That one is cool.
I'm going to take a picture of this and then just post it
when
I go home.
Yeah. Virtual background.
My virtual background.
So the last question I'm trying to ask people in these, and sometimes I forget, but I'm going to ask you this and then we'll wrap, is if you could tell someone how much their life or work has inspired you, this person could be dead or alive, who would that be and what would you tell them or ask them about?
I know I mentioned, I always try to get their names. Alice and Martin Provenson, I think. Mm-hmm. They ended up doing during the period of mid-century so much. And this is a couple creating some just awesome work. I'm trying to think of one of the books. I have this book. I have it on my shelf and I see it all the time, but I can't think of the title. I see all the so it's really two fabulous artists. How do they work? And they explained, they did an article at one point and talked about how, maybe one would walk away and the other one would da. I'm curious in how creative people, I'm curious how couples work, honestly. So creative couples, even more so. I have questions. I want to know, mostly because, I would take some of those lessons and kind of implement it into my own relationship. You don't have to be creative to, it helps, but when you work well with somebody, it's just, I'm always curious about that and how I can help my own situation. It's not a bad situation. We're cool, but I always shoot to make it better.
Yeah, but even how you work with Josh or how you work with even a client, collaborate. Sometimes when you're reading about Alice and Martin, that might have some good suggestions for how creative people can work together and collaborate in another way. So it's just one of the areas that you're curious about, which I love.
Collaboration, it's a thing. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I am going to make sure everybody knows how to get in touch with you. I'm going to make sure I'm not rolling over my dog. On Instagram, you can go to instagram.com/Dameon, Dameon underscore Williams, WILLIAMS. Or you can go to DameonWilliams.com. And these links, both of those links will be at the very top of, if you're watching on YouTube or in your podcast settings, they'll be at the top. They'll also be at the top of the page on the site where this lives for me on Creatives Ignite. So, Dameon, thanks for doing this. Finally, we get it. And I appreciate everybody hanging in there for us since we started a little late. Not that anybody in the recording will know that, but
my bad, everybody. My bad.
It wasn't your bad. I am very thankful that we got this done, and just glad that we could do this finally. And I could see where some of your inspiration comes from. And I love just the history, and that you took it back to the making a road, the Beltline through
the Beltline, right, right. Because it's all connected. It's all connected. I wasn't aware of that stuff as a kid, but as an adult, you realize, okay, this is where. So, and if we want to improve things in the world, honestly, we need to listen to each other and really dig into our history, our shared history, because the answers are there. If we are actually cool enough and big boy and big girl enough to accept some of the not so great things, but it wasn't us. We need to learn from that.
And we need to just be able to have some conversations that may be awkward.
Right.
I know you and I have had plenty of conversations where I was like, I didn't know. And you were like, okay, well, this is maybe offensive, and you could say it in a different way, or think about it from this. And I really appreciate that role that you have in my life as well. Of course. You're not going to know until you learn. And I don't mind. We have that relationship. So I can't do that for everybody, but I love you. So I want you and all my friends to be aware, and vice versa. Same for me. For sure. Well, thank you. And I love you too. And next week we are talking about sketchbooks, and I'm going to share a little bit of my sketchbook. I know we're kind of kicking it off, but we had kind of a weird month. So the sketchbook series is for sure kicking off. And then I take all of July off. So I will be having lots of YouTubes that are going up in July that will really be focusing on the summer art party, which anybody still can join. We did meet yesterday and it was great. It's going to be every other Tuesday. It's totally free. You're just coming on Zoom and sharing something that you've made or you want to make, and something good you like about it and something that you don't. And it's just for an hour. And if you want to get on that list, you can email me back. There's a link on all the pages, a link to the summer.
How often do you do summer art party?
It's only in the summer, and summer art party. We're going to meet. I'm trying to post every day on Facebook. I'm going to try to find the link really quick. The Facebook group, I'll leave it at the top underneath your links, but if anybody wants it, it's right here. And then we're meeting every other Tuesday for an hour. Eastern time, it's right at lunch. So it's at noon. Eastern time, it's at 9 Pacific. So that means it's at 5 British Standard Time. Is that what it is? BST? I don't even know what the B. British Summer Time, I think. British Summer Time. Anyway, whatever. In England or in Europe, whatever your GMT is, I think it's anyway, if you get on that list on the Facebook group, or there's a link, you can sign up for the link. And that one is right here. You can find, is that where this is? Oh yeah. You can sign up for that one here if anybody wants to do that. And then we're just talking and sharing and holding each other accountable. And it's totally free, and it's helping me to be accountable and you guys to be accountable. So it was really good and it was really fun to meet. And hopefully summer art party will continue. July, I take July off from the podcast. Not like I'm not doing other things. I will be continuing to post things. And then we start back with sketchbook series in August. And then we'll do this inspiration series again, part of the end of August and part of September. And then we have a couple other series that we're going to be doing. And I'm excited, and I'm getting the fall schedule all booked in. And we have a product design series that I'm going to do. So I just have to get things going. So if you guys have suggestions, that's what this is. But summer art party could be that you're just trying to do more art or do something outside of using your computer, or it could be doing it digitally. It's not that it's analog only, but anyway, that's it. That's what summer art party is. And if you want to see, I'm just trying to post weekly to the blog. So we'll see. But hopefully maybe if you have a lunchtime, Dameon, and you want to join us, I hope you get to.
I think that would that would be pretty cool. I may encourage us to do some of the things we talked about today.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will see you guys next week for the second kickoff of the sketchbook series. And hopefully maybe you'll use July to work on your sketchbook and work on creating that habit, hopefully. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. And Dameon, thank you so much.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.